It's the weekend kickoff of the National Briefing with me, Kelly Nash. Hope you're having a great Friday. And it's been a great week for Republicans, conservatives, Americans. Whether you look at the success in D.C. after Trump's power grab, you've got the first week in, they said, many years without a murder in D.C. You've got carjackings down 83%. Wherever you look, it's just great news what's going on in D.C. You're showing that the strength works. You see the peace talks and what's going on with the Ukraine and Russia. I mean, across the board, the Texas redistricting, that went fantastic. Everything seems to be coming up great for the Republicans. Look at the Cracker Barrel. Cracker Barrel. It's already find out time. They just did their brand relaunch and lost $100 million in one day because they wanted to be a little more DEI. Americans are rejecting DEI woke policies across the board. So with that in mind, you're saying it's all over. There's nothing left to really struggle with. No, because Gavin Newsom has found a way to make some history for himself. He's seizing power, and he celebrated it yesterday when they in the California House, they passed a bill that would actually violate their own state constitution. Gavin celebrated.
Open your eyes to what is going on in the United States of America in 2025. We're responding what occurred in Texas. We're neutralizing what occurred, and we're giving the American people a fair chance. Because when all things are equal, and we're all playing by the same set of rules, there's no question that the Republican Party will be the minority party in the House of Representatives next year.
Gavin Newsom, a little raspy there, but he's saying that when all things are equal, the Democrats win. So is he saying that the last election was not fair because they lost in every measure, whether you're looking at the state houses, if you're looking at people, senators, you're looking at governors, you're obviously looking at the presidency. They were just trashed. Matter of fact, yesterday on this broadcast, we had MS, well, it's not MS-13 now, but they're almost MS-13 now. They were showing a thing that showed that in the 30 states that actually register voters by party, there was a 4.5 million swap pro-Republican. So I guess he's an election denier now. Gavin Newsom on the board as an election denier. But Gavin understands that if you got to sell something, you've got to make people afraid. They've been trying to make you afraid that you're going to lose democracy, and Americans haven't bought that. So now he's got something even scarier than losing democracy.
Those enduring values that we celebrate, just celebrated 249 years, the best of the Roman Republic, Greek democracy, the rule of law, co-equal branches of government, popular sovereignty. What we'll celebrate, will we?
What?
Next year, the 250th anniversary.
Gavin Newsom said we could lose the 4th of July? That doesn't even make sense. I mean, even if you were to win or lose the election in 2026, it doesn't matter because nobody goes into the House until the 27. Well, how could anyway, it doesn't have to make sense. He's a Democrat. But do you notice he got a weird speech pattern going on? I thought about it. I think he sounds a lot like he's a raspier version of Christopher Walken. And if you're not familiar with Mr. Walken's work, here he is from the 1990s classic movie Mousetrap.
Normal people are not psychologically equipped to catch mice. You have to get inside their mind. You have to know what they want, need. You have to think like a mouse.
Yes.
If you can do that, if you can think like a mouse, you can anticipate their moves. Then, boom, sayonara mouse.
All right, so we've got, I'm going to start calling him possibly Gavin Walken. Gavin Walken is saying you're going to lose democracy, you're going to lose the 4th of July, and you may be saying to yourself, well, this guy's off his rocker. He's going to violate the Constitution for his state, so on and so forth. No. Remember at the beginning of this year, Gavin Newsom launched a podcast. In the first couple of episodes, he actually, I think, was trying to respond to the 2024 election because he sounded like he was trying to find common ground with Republicans. And I don't remember which one of his guests were on in one of the first episodes, and he was talking about, I can see your point on the transgendered sports. Maybe we need to rethink that. and the left lost their mind. And every time he tried to reach across the aisle, the left lost his mind. And remember, a couple of years ago, they tried to do a recall vote on him because he was even then trying to reach across the aisle. So in June of this year, thanks to John Solomon, he does a great job at Just the News. John Solomon reports in early June, 38% of California voters thought that or approved of Gavin Newsom's job. 38% in June. Now, they just asked them again, and it's up to 56%. They love the fact that Gavin Newsom is trying to stop Trump, even if it's for their own good. They don't want Trump to be successful. So Gavin Newsom understands that. He's just going to be crazy, and that's why he's mocking Trump online and sounding like an insane person. Now, for those of you concerned about, the fact that they're violating the Constitution and all this other stuff, don't worry about it. Gavin Newsom on a podcast yesterday explained.
And let me be specific about that. The maps are going on the ballot. There has never been a state that's put its maps to the people. That's called direct democracy. It is in stark contrast, temporary, transparent, and democratic compared to any other state, particularly what's going on in Texas. Give me a break.
So it's very temporary, right? It's only, according to Gavin Newsom, it'll be for the 26th election, 28th election, and 2030 election. Then we'll comply with the state constitution that says that redistricting has to be done by this commission. Okay, that doesn't sound very temporary to me, to be honest with you, Gavin. But the real big push is it's direct democracy, which is actually impossible. If anybody understands, it's not technically impossible, but it's been pretty impossible in all places that have tried it. Direct democracy means that every person has a say. Now, if you look at how voter turnouts go, and by the way, we're not a direct democracy because that's actually mob rule. That's what the founders didn't want, was direct democracy. What they wanted was a republican. So in the republic, you have representative democracy. You elect a representative and they vote for you by proxy, as opposed to you having to go to the state house and vote on every dang bill. All right, but let's just take a look at what Gavin Newsom has put together here. Because when he starts talking about now the voters finally have their voice will be heard on this. We're the first state to do it. When you look at, if you're trying to get something passed, what you want to do is get it in on an off-year election, which would be considered every other year. So the 2026 election will be an off year because the president is not on the ballot. With the president on the ballot, you usually get about 65% of the voters to turn out. So that's going to be a pretty good idea of what the people wanted. And the off-year elections, which would be next year's election, you're going to get about 50% of the people who come and vote for governors and Congress people and that sort of thing. Then what he's talking about, this type of an election, you're going to get about 20% of the voters. 20% are going to turn out. It's only going to be the most passionate people. I don't want to diminish anybody, but the most passionate on the right and the most passionate on the left. Gavin Newsom understands that if you want to get something like this passed, this is the only time you can get it passed. Because if you put it up during a presidential election, it would get squashed. It's already been squashed several times. So he understands that this is how you play the game. And then you wrap yourself in the blanket of democracy. And again, it's working for him. That's the whole thing. The left is so radicalized that even when you see like Trump's success in D.C., Gavin Newsom and the left will sit here and cry for their criminals. We want our criminals back, criminals back, criminals back. That's where the left is today.